Hi there. Today we're going to read Chapter 3 from the Magic Treehouse series Dolphins at Daybreak, written by Mary Pope Osborne. Chapter 3 today is called Mini Sub. But before we do that, let's recap what happened yesterday in Chapter 2, The Reef. So Annie and Jack arrived in the treehouse on the reef, which was a pink sandy beach. And Jack learned that the sand was pink from coral reef, which is an animal, dying and building up. And so the little skeletons kind of make the reef, the island. Annie hopped right out the window of the treehouse because she saw what they realized was a mini sub. And Annie wanted to get in the sub, but Jack told her no. So at first she said okay, and then she was begging Jack to get in. So he said fine, as long as you don't touch anything, which Annie promised. And as we know, Annie doesn't always keep her promises. So here they are in the sub, and Annie had touched a few buttons, and they started to head underwater. So before we read Chapter 3, called Mini Sub, I want you to remember that in these stories, there's not a lot of pictures, so we have to use this reader skill called visualization. And that's when we listen to the words in the story and imagine what's happening in our mind, almost like a movie. So today, as we read Chapter 3, make sure you're visualizing what's going on. Chapter 3, Mini Sub. "You've really done it now, Annie," said Jack. Sorry, but look out the window," said Annie. "Look." "Forget it. We have to figure this out." Jack stared at the computer. He saw a row of pictures at the top of the screen. What did you do?" he asked. Well, I just pressed the on button," said Annie. "And the screen lit up. And I pressed the starfish." "That must be the command to go under the water," said Jack. So here's the pictures Annie's talking about that she pressed. "Yeah. Then the map came on," said Annie. Okay. The map shows the reef," said Jack. "Look, there's the mini sub on the map. It's moving away from the reef." "It's like a video game," said Annie. "I bet I know what to do." Annie pressed a key with an arrow pointing right. The mini sub on the screen moved right. The real mini sub turned to the right also. "Great," said Jack with relief. "You press the arrows to steer the mini sub. So now we can go back." "Oh no, not right away," said Annie. "It's so beautiful down here." "We have to get back to the reef," said Jack. His eyes were still glued to the computer screen. "What if the owners find it gone?" "Look out the window," said Annie. "Just for one teeny second." Jack sighed. Ugh. He pushed his glasses into place and looked up. "Oh man," he said softly. Outside the glass was a strange world of bright moving color. It looked like another planet. The mini sub was moving past red, yellow, and blue coral, past little coral mountains, valleys, and caves, past fishes of every color and size. So right now I'm visualizing in my mind Annie and Jack in this little bubble submarine, and they're floating along, and they're getting to see all the cool creatures and animals that live in the ocean. Lots of bright colors, pinks and oranges and green, and I imagine fish making bubbles. I hope that you're imagining and visualizing in your mind what's happening. "Can't we stay for a little while? The answer to Morgan's riddle might be here," said Annie. Jack nodded slowly. She might be right, he thought. Besides, when would they ever get to visit a place like this again? So this picture's not very colorful, but it does show Annie and Jack floating along in the mini sub. And Jack has now just agreed to stay under the water for a little while. So that's it for Chapter 3 today. Make sure you talk to somebody about what just happened in the chapter, and then you're going to write 2 juicy sentences explaining what happened. And tomorrow we're going to read chapter 4, which is called Fish City.